knew other people that had bands, and they were actually fairly successful, but they all were waiting tables or catering or doing something during the day, and I just didn't want to do that. I thought that I could better spend my time, support myself through my craft. The thing is, I've been doing this style of performance since I was 8 years old, since I saw Jerry Lewis and the Nutty Professor, and that was really the first exposure I had to the big band music, and it got me interested in acting, and I started to go and see shows. My parents would take me to some of the shows around Milwaukee, Wisconsin. While I was in college, I started to put together my own little bands. I was a theater major, so I was still performing in musical comedies. But at night I would go out and perform with little trios, and we would do the music of Bobby Darin and Frank Sinatra. I ended up getting cast as not only the singer, but the band leader of the Rainbow Room, and really learned what it takes to be a band leader of that style of music. I was in Scotland, and I would go into Edinburgh almost every night, and I knew which night, which clubs had an open mic. The old-timers that were the big fans would say, "Ah, you sound like Bobby Darin," and I discovered how great a singer he was. Up to that time, Act the Knife and Splish Splash, that's about all I knew. But when I heard him singing things like A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square and I Can't Give You Anything But Love and some of these standards, I was just knocked out. I think that he had the same kind of laid-back style that Sinatra did and some of the crooners, but he had more energy because he came from a rock and roll background, and he really understood the rhythm and blues pulse and that kind of energy. In the mid to late 90s, the swing resurgence was in full speed, and bands like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Cherry Poppin' Daddies, Brian Setzer, who had been working on his orchestra for years, and some of the more obscure artists from the 60s like Martin Denny, Esquivel, Arthur Lyman. And at that time, the Civic Theater of Central Florida, the artistic director was Alan Brune. He was interested in doing a show with me. So I came up with a concept of putting together a band called Mickey Swingerhead and the Earth Girls. A concert, and it would have a story behind the concert. And Alan and I produced it at the Civic Theater. Alan directed it, and it became, if you want to say, a cultish hit. There was a scene developing downtown Orlando, retro lounge scene. But the thing was, I wanted to tour with my band, Swingerhead. So we started touring around the nation, and Merv Griffin asked me if we'd be interested in being the house band at the Coconut Club every Saturday night. Got seen by music supervisor Maureen Crow, and we ended up being cast in Heartbreakers. I was on tour, and I got a call from Alan Brune, and he said, "We're doing a cabaret festival at our theater, Mad Cow Theater." My absolute favorite writer from the Tin Pan Alley days was Johnny Mercer. Tunes like that Old Black Magic, One for My Baby, Something's Gotta Give, they were at the top of my list of favorite songs. This guy collaborated with everybody. I thought, what a great story. Johnny Mercer did a lot of radio shows. He really was up there as far as a radio personality. I've come full circle back to my first love, the thing that inspired all of this, which is the movie The Nutty Professor, and we're doing a stage version right now of the movie The Nutty Professor, Jerry Lewis's version. I think a true leader is somebody who is really able to motivate people through their example and really inspire them to be as great as they can be. You vote with your support. If you think something is great, try to help it, try to nurture it, try to get other people to go. Go to it yourself by all means. Stuff that they don't like, don't talk about it. Don't go to it. You don't have to complain about it, just don't support it. In the industry, they're always saying, you know, we love the style of music you do, we're just upset that there's not more of it. Well, there's not more of it because you're not voting for it. All the buying, they control the music industry. The people that complain about how they don't like what's going on in the music industry aren't doing anything about it. And there's a lot of artists that I think are guilty of just stuff that I like to do isn't happening. Well, it's because you're not doing it, and you gotta take the initiative of making it happen yourself. There's a lot of other people out there that you can collaborate with and make it happen. And I recommend that to anybody, no matter what style of music you love. If you can't seem to find the scene happening out there, make it happen. And I think that it's a great formula for success, and it's the way that we can really make a difference in the scene.
Now, it's great pleasure in introducing the founder of the pad, our favorite singer boy, Mickey Swingerhead.
I've flown around this big black ocean. I sailed across the Milky Way. The big air fills me with emotion, but that doesn't mean I can say